So when I started beginning to mix music, I was actually mixing all of my friends' work. So I was mixing my music, I was mixing someone around the corner, I was mixing another person around the corner. Everybody used to come to my house to record all of their music. So I think it was fun because I'm a technical person. I always like to do technical things. So I started realizing that I started to like to mix more than I like to write, then I like to be on stage. I really don't like to be on stage at all. So I say once I realized I could make something that sounds like to something great, that's when I fell in love with it. So I'm Chris, I go by MixedByEl. I'm a full-time audio engineer. I produce every now and then. I'm from New York, but I'm mostly in Jacksonville, Florida. I've been here since 9, and yeah, that's pretty much me. I think I started making music at like 13. I used to like use my mama's cassette tapes, if you know what I'm talking about, and basically record over her music that she used to buy from like stores and stuff like that. So pretty much, I feel like around 13 to 12, I was getting into it, but at 16 is when I like downloaded a program and then got into the whole music thing. So I say around 16 is when I fell in love with it, and I started like writing music and getting into the whole 9 yard. All right, so my first piece for my equipment, I would say, was a microphone, and it was like a MX 990 or it was like a 690. I can't remember exactly what the microphone was, but it was only like 120 bucks, but I was working at a warehouse job that paid me like $8 an hour, and I think I stacked up a check or two, and I went and bought it, and that was like my first real gear, but I had like a really cheap interface, but that was like my first, like, I spent over 150 bucks like on a decent microphone. But yeah, I worked like a month at a warehouse, $8.50 an hour, and then got me a microphone. All right, so to be honest, I actually was really cheap when I began to engineer to the public. So what I understood was I couldn't come into the game or come into the mixing game trying to charge what a professional charge. So I was charging like $20 a mix when I got into the game, and it was around Corona time. And I think because it was Corona time and no one had their studios open, I became very popular really quick. So I was booked. I was getting like 10 bookings a day, so that was kind of like a 9 to 5 for me, right? There was more than what I was getting paid at a 9 to 5, so it was booming. But I would say my mixes did suck, but I think it got my reps in to like where I was getting better and better. So once I realized 10 songs were turning into 20 songs a day, I started my prices started going up to where it was $50, $60, $75. So I always went up only like $15 until I got to where I am now. So I would say the key to like my engineering, like my sound, is, honestly, I think everyone has their own sound, but just my ears and my style of music. Like I said, I'm a big fan of R&B, but it's something that I like about the grit of rap music that I think it just shines. I still polish rap music. I still cater to the vocals, even though it's supposed to be gritty, I still cater to it like it's supposed to be, I don't know, like still supposed to sound good. And I think a lot of rap music don't sound good. Like they don't really polish it up like I think it needs to be. So I think for me, it's just I have an old school ear, but I can still bring in new school, like for the rappers who want that sound. All right, so what got me into content creating was my business was not doing well, and I wanted to figure out how to make more money in my business. It was a point where I didn't want to like go down on my prices, so I was like, let me just try to add on to what I was doing. So I started content creating, and I was like, let me just show people that I know what I'm talking about. if I'm going to show my face. So if people knew MixedByEl in the beginning, MixedByEl was just a logo where I never showed like my face for the first like 2 years of my business being active. So when I did show my face, I wanted to make sure that I kind of knew what I was talking about, and everybody took me as serious as they did when they just seen a logo. So that really what got me into it. But I always tell engineers, content creating wasn't what got me booked more. I think it was a run where I did get booked a lot, but now it's just a whole bunch of engineers and music producers who just came together, and we all just have dope conversations. It's not really it's not like really rappers in your DMs like you would think, yeah. All right, so the goals for my brand pretty much is to eventually have engineers under MixedByEl. That is the goal. And expand to where I know that I'm getting about 20 bookings a day, and I just spread the work out to other engineers that actually have really good work. And I do see my face as like a brand, so I do want to be like the brand of something, or the face of a brand, and be able to, I guess, get other engineers work, you know what I'm saying? And I do have other goals like with bigger companies. I do have a lot of brand deals, so I do focus on wanting to be a face for one of the bigger audio brand companies, like Auto-Tune, Pro Tools, just like a really big company like that. So my advice, if you want to get into audio engineering, is you're gonna have to do free work or really cheap work to be able to get your clientele, and that's just the way it's gonna have to be until you make people fall in love with your work to where they feel like they can't go to another person, and it's gonna be to a point where they are gonna go somewhere else. But if they just don't get that certain sound that they get with you, they're gonna come back, and then that's when you can start charging. So pretty much don't start charging until it's good enough for people to come back.